Ready? I got you in. Need some more fuel, Caffeine.
Greetings and salutations, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Byron Allen, and we'd like to welcome you to another episode of Calisthenics on Caffeine. We have an amazing guest in today, and let me tell you folks, this brother has been putting in work for many years. He's been grinding, and now he is at the precipice of creating his empire, and it is going places, folks. Let me tell you, we have STYLEZ in the building. Ladies and gentlemen, Team Empire, BX is definitely in the building. And thank you for coming, my brother, taking the time out. Where do we begin, bro? I wanted to start at your genesis. Calisthenics, body weight. Where's the start for you?
First, before I get into that whole storyline, I'd like to say thank you for the opportunity. I appreciate it. It's a blessing to be here.
Brother.
Shout out to Byron. Shout out to everyone out here.
No doubt, bro. Appreciate it.
Yeah, so the origin stories, right?
Yeah.
That's where we started.
Yeah.
So, man, I can start from all the way when I was a teenager. I was around 16 years old when I first started to get into calisthenics. You know, that's thanks to my team that's out based in the Bronx. Before anyone heard of Team Empire, some of you may not know, we go way back. I don't know if you ever heard of Team Brotherhood, Team Blackout.
Yeah, Q and all them, yeah.
That's right.
You was locked in with them back then?
Yeah. So I knew of them.
Right.
I never worked out with them, but I knew of them, right?
Okay.
So it all started through that, through learning more about them, to understanding what truly calisthenic was in that essence, in that time. And ever since that day, I shout out to Andy. He was one of the people that showed me under his wing to see what reps and sets is really about when it comes to calisthenics. You know, I would see the freestyle, I would see the static holds, the front levers, the handstands, but then I would see the push-ups, I would see the pull-ups, I would see the 40 clips, the 50 clips, I would see the 100 push-ups. To me, that I felt like that was a lot more impressive than just doing a single move and you're done for the day. For me, it was more about the working out portion of it. So I was like, okay, this is the route that I want to go. And ever since that time happened, ever since that event happened, that it took me there. That's where I went.
Oh man, that's super dope. So what's your home park again? So people will know. We know.
All right. So I'm gonna shout out my park real quick. It's Harris Field, home of the Empire. That's our slogan.
Shout out to the Empire, baby.
There you go. Shout out to Empire. Shout out to the whole team. Big shout out to a co-founder of mine, of the team itself, Cuzzo.
Shout out to Cuzzo.
We can't miss out Cuzzo.
He's
one of the people that first started the team, the movement. Shout out to him as well.
Yeah, absolutely. What about, is Will still Will Vo still part of the team? Okay.
That's right.
Okay, good. So,
so if you want to get into the leaders, the teammates, shout out to Willpower, very strong athlete.
Yeah.
Immense respect to him because me and him started way before Team Empire. So many of you do not know, me and Will started working out back in our teens. I was 17, Will was around 18.
Wow.
So we started at a very young age.
Wow, so he's really a brother of yours. He's about to go off, he's about to do some service, military service. So we want you to return home safely, my brother. And our love and support go with you, all right?
That's right, that's right.
So how has your why do I start with this? Because I remember we had Cinderblock up here on this show, and he shouted at you, I was like, yo, this brother, he's been in my lockout leagues, he's been in this one, he's been in that one, and he's not afraid to jump into any competition. Whether you lose, you win, it doesn't matter. What drives you?
That's a great question. What drives me, what motivates me to compete is the simple fact of the people that I have around me. You know, the people that I have around me, they're strong athletes. You know, you interview some of them. Khalid, shout out to Khalid, that's another great athlete.
King Clutch.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
He represents that name well.
Absolutely.
And my own teammates. You know, I have another teammate of mine that's here in this building as well. Shout out to Willies. And these are the people that keep me pushing. We hold each other accountable. If I'm not up to par, if they're not up to par, we try to help each other. And that's part of the journey that we have, by competing, by leveling up, elevating. And that's where it mainly starts, a mirror motivation. You know, having that consistent teamwork, partnership that you have within your team to help you keep going stronger.
What are some of your favorite workouts within the reps and sets realm?
Within the reps and sets realm,
Are you like a high repetitions guy, or does it really matter?
It honestly, at this point, it all depends now what I'm training for. You know, now since I consider myself a competitor, I like to train what I'm going to compete at. So whether it's a high rep competition or a strength competition, I like to base off my workouts off the competition. So
Makes sense.
if it's mainly endurance, I like to do a lot of high rep endurance, max muscle ups, max push-ups, max dips, max squats for sets. You know, to build up that conditioning, build up that resistance as well.
What is your view on rest? I don't believe that everything is absolute. It varies. What do you think?
Rest is key. You know, for me, rest is key. Reason why, if you can't perform at your best, 9 times out of 10 is because your recovery wasn't the best. And it's not only about the work that you put in, but it's also about the work that you take in. That's what I like to preach to my teammates.
Explain.
So what I mean by work to take in is a work that you learn to study on your rest days. So that can be a simple stretching routine. It can be a simple jogging. It can be a simple hike. It can be a simple run. A time where you're not exerting or having too intense of a workout like any other day that you're training. So that's what I mean by taking in that work. Listen to your body. Learn that rest is key. But at the same time, understand that when you're not resting, the work got to be put out there.
Interesting. Let's get a little bit more deeper in that conversation. Let's say I'm training to prepare for a competition. Now, as you know, it's very, 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 you got to be careful about your rest and your workout leading up until the day of the competition.
Oh, that's right.
A lot of people, and that's what throws a lot of athletes off. They may take a little too much rest, or they may not rest enough. I don't know if it sounded right, guys, but you get what I'm saying. What do you think, how should an athlete handle a 5-day period going into a competition? Monday, competition is Saturday.
Oh, okay.
What's the breakdown?
That's a great question. You know, it's funny you brought that up because I had a recent conversation with one of my teammates about when to increase and when to decrease the intensity right before you're going to compete. So for me personally, if you're going to compete on a Saturday, it's not wise to go at 100 every single day leading up to that competition. Reason being, you're tiring yourself out. By the time you get to that competition, you might be performing at 60 or 70% rather than 100. Now, my strategy with that is go high intensity the first 2 days out of the week, either a Monday or a Tuesday. Decrease the intensity by at least 50, 40% on a Wednesday, Thursday, and then anywhere between Thursday, Friday, take that key rest day, meaning recovery, hydrate, eat well, and sleep well.
That's a nice breakdown. I like that. Cool. Recently, you've been in collaboration and partnership with, is it Rusad?
Rusad,
I want to pronounce it right. I'm sorry, my bro. Every time I get it wrong. But this is happening in the last, year, you would say.
That's right.
So,
End of the year.
Talk to me about that partnership and what you guys are trying to accomplish.
Okay. So Rusad and I, we came across, just a little background story. We first met at the Lockout League competition, the one that happened back in February, the ending of February, where Rusad was a part of it as a judge. And we connected mainly because of our roots. You know, for those of you that don't know, I'm half Mexican. Shout out to my mom, she's Mexican. Rusad, Mexican. So through that, we were able to connect. You know, he can't really speak well English, but the Spanish was there. I'm fluent in Spanish as well, so I was able to communicate with him. And one day, after the comp, he said, "Let's meet. You know, I have a plan. I want something that I think you can be a part of." And me being someone that I want to keep growing the community, not just for myself, but for my teammates, for people that are in this community to make this bigger, I said, yeah. So after that, we got together and he presented me what he does down in Mexico. And down in Mexico, they also host competitions similar to what we do here.
Big time down there, brother.
That's right. Shout out to Mexico, Rousset, and the whole team. And he introduced me to what they do. He showed me the ties and the knots. And I said, yeah, I was committed. We were originally going to host a competition inside of a gym. That was our main plan. But then it couldn't happen, so we said, what's the best next choice? It was like the park, why not? So thankfully, the day that we chose for the competition to happen was a day where it was good. It was sunny, it was clear, it wasn't too cold, just a little windy, but not too bad. And then afterwards, it was history from there. You know, the competition itself was called the 32 Aztecas. For those of you who don't know, it's the 32 Aztecs. It's a competition that, for the very first time here in this city, we were able to allow athletes from the U.S. to qualify to go compete down in Mexico with other 30 different athletes that are not just coming from Mexico this year, but will also be coming from Peru, from Argentina, and Mexico, of course. So that thankfully we were able to be a part of that, as not just as Team Empire, but as New York,
yes,
as a whole state, to keep growing the community. So shout out to Rousset.
Spectacular.
Yeah.
I love it. Continued growth internationally.
That's right.
And we look forward to many great things with Aztec 32. I'm going to ask you the same questions I've asked several of the athletes. What are your intentions with this
Okay.
calisthenics? What is your plan?
My plan is to
Outside of what you just mentioned.
make this a sport, make this a well-respected sport. The reason why it's so well-respected is because I want people to watch us on TV, whether we're freestylers, whether we reps and sets, whether
Caffeine TV?
There you go. I want us to get that recognition in order for us to be compensated for the hard work that we do. I've spoken to many athletes, OGs, up and coming, and I know how hard these athletes train. I know how much they have to sacrifice. Some of these athletes have families, children. Some of these athletes may even have injury, and they're still going at it. So to me, that's something that I feel we should all be able to acknowledge and say, okay, it's time that we should compensate these athletes. It's time that we should make them become a bigger platform.
Absolutely, I love it. Payment, compensation, insurance, sanctioned drug tests.
Yeah, for sure.
In time.
Yeah.
Not for and listen, I've been an advocate of that. I'm huge on drug testing and not just calisthenics, just in general. And touchy subject, and it's not for every comp. We don't want to see that. Sometimes we want to see the big monsters
That's right.
juice out and go crazy. That's cool too, but we also want to respect the culture and integrity and the athletes that are natural athletes.
Definitely.
So in time, sanctioned drug testing will be a part of the culture. But
right.
I love that. I love everything that you have planned, Styles. I would like for you to speak in Spanish if you want to promote 32 Aztecz.
Yeah, that's
and,
cool.
any other endeavors that you have coming up.
Okay, so hola, ¿cómo están? Mi nombre es STYLEZ, me dicen STYLEZ sobre apoyo. Quiero promocionar lo que vamos a tener al fin del año con los 32 Aztecas, con la Federación Mexicana, igual con Rousset MX, México representando. Vamos a estar colaborando el equipo, que mi equipo se llama Team Empire, con el equipo Rousset MX, para organizar los competidores aquí de los Estados Unidos para que puedan competir allá en México. Y allá se va a crear una competencia de los 32 Aztecas, donde nomás va a ser un solo campeón entre los 32. So esperen que va a ser en diciembre.
Styles.
That's right.
Team Empire, baby.
That's right.
Calisthenics over caffeine. Thank you, brother.
Thank you.
All right.